tough economic times this past year, and you're wondering what you can do to, just boost your income a little bit. You're thinking about, maybe, should I drive an Uber on the weekend? Should I start selling my sperm? Should I start selling my hair? Should I sell my girlfriend's socks? You're barely scraping by, and you're trying to figure out what you can do to just generate a little bit of side cash. I am here with the quickest and easiest way to monetize an asset that was otherwise just sitting in your house, eating your food and just draining your resources. And that's, you can rent your children to Somalian daycares out in Minnesota, because now they're, after being showcased on film of having empty daycare centers, they're apparently shipping in vans of kids to the learning center. Well, no, it wasn't leaning center. What was the word? Leering. And maybe those kids are learning how to leer. For all of us criticizing on the internet, maybe they've learned, because we've all been in government offices and they give you shit, but are you good at leering at them? Do you have a good stare that puts a government employee on in their place and lets them know, hey, listen, I'm not the guy that you want to not process his paperwork? Because listen, you and I, we didn't go to leering school. For all you know, if you went to leering daycare as a child, you would have a stare that put the fear of God into government officials, that when you were trying to get a business license, like, think about how many honest ventures you've engaged in where the government might have turned you down. Maybe it was a permit, maybe it was a license for your building, and sadly, you didn't go to Somalian leering school, and so you didn't know how to properly stare at a government employee. So really, there's two things to think about here. If you do have kids, maybe you need to put them into the leering centers so that they can learn how to stare at people and get their way, and put the fear of God into them so that the government processes their paperwork efficiently and sends them free money. But also, if your kids are off from school, they're not really up to much, all that much. They're just watching too much television. They're spending too much time on the tablets. They're giving you a hard time. Maybe thinking about making a couple extra dollars by renting them to Somalian van drivers so that they can circle around the Somalian schools and pretend like there's actually kids at those schools. Listen, I understand it's tough times for everybody, even though Donald Trump's telling you it's the most incredible economy of all time. So just trying to put out some suggestions for you on how you might be able to make a couple extra dollars if you were looking to do so. All right, another quick topic, but we can take some comments. Let's take some comments. Let's see what's